A boat carrying around 100 asylum seekers has just arrived at Christmas Island as Tony Abbott accused some of deliberately destroying their ID papers to confuse immigration officials.
He says an Abbott government would take a hard line on this, and 10's political reporter Leah Craven joins us now live from Canberra. Leah, what has prompted this announcement?
Well, the opposition really sees asylum issues as the government's Achilles heel, so it seized on the revelations on Four Corners during the week that an alleged people smuggler had been granted refugee status here in Australia and was plying his trade here. So Tony Abbott and Scott Morrison announced today 3 things that the coalition would do if it were to gain government. Now, some of these were just repeating existing opposition policies, so the government didn't really take the bait here. It just dismissed this as recycled material. Navigating Australia's immigration system will become much harder for asylum seekers if Tony Abbott becomes Prime Minister.
If you destroy your documents, there will be a presumption against refugee status.
The problem often is that people don't have documents. Do those people who are being bombed from the air really have, blown up, do they really have the opportunity to grab their documents?
The policy that's been announced today clearly shows he has no idea what it is that refugees are escaping from.
This man's to blame for the crackdown. Captain Emad allegedly deceived Australia's immigration officials and was granted refugee status. He evaded federal police, allegedly running a people smuggling ring while posing as a trolley collector in suburban Canberra. To prevent more incidents like this, an Abbott government would set up an integrity commission to audit assessments, and the immigration minister could reverse decisions to grant people asylum.
This government is just basically ticking and flicking people through the process.
The government's labelled this a cheap political stunt and says the last thing refugee policy needs is more layers of bureaucracy. It says it already has the power to revoke visas and does so when necessary. The government's continuing to promote its Malaysia people swap deal as the best way to stop asylum seekers making a dangerous boat journey to Australia.
The problem is that we can't get that through the Senate or the House of Representatives.
The stalemate continues. So even though both major parties do actually want offshore processing to occur, we're no closer to any kind of bipartisanship on this issue. As you can see, it's just as contentious as ever, and we can expect a lot more tit-for-tat politics on this as the weeks continue.
You're not wrong about that. Leah Craven in Canberra, thank you.